Okay, this is Brett at Agents Discovery. I got enough interest in the community for the callback feature that I was doing with one of my agents. Basically, the agent gets a call, is requested a callback any different number of ways. Somebody could just say, hey, call me back later, or call me back this time tomorrow. And so Jessica will do that. That's what I named this agent. At the bottom of the description, I'll leave her phone number and you can test it out, see if it still works. I need all the testing I can get. But the last time I checked, it was working. So today I'm just going to show the kind of high level pieces that you need and how I implemented it. I'm not going to go into the exact details of how to configure all of it. If that's needed, I can, but that will make this video significantly longer, so I'm just not going to do that. So I'm just going to start with Synflow. I got Synflow open here. And my approach to these agents is I'm trying to give them actions or API calls, things they can do during the call rather than going into a workflow and passing things along later. I just like it better because it's making the agent appear more like a person, and I think that's what we're trying to do here is replace people during calls, and that's where most of the value is. So, and it makes troubleshooting simpler and just makes everything kind of easier to work out. The good thing about these during the call actions or connections, things the agent can do during the call, is it just sort of figures it out on its own. And I think that's what this is all about, right? I mean, it's AI. It's supposed to, oh, I have access to all these. Sometimes they call it tools or these API calls to do things during the call, and it just selects the right one most of the time, in my opinion, from my experience. So, anyways, the callback feature is a couple of different things. So this is the one, Jessica. Again, I'll leave her number in the description so you can check out how it works, so you can call it yourself. The overall high level here is I just did two things. So I gave Jessica her own calendar and her own email. So here is her email. I might try to figure out a way to give Jessica a way to read this and maybe interact and update calls that way. But anyways, you give them an email, their own email account. I use Google, and I have a custom domain, Agents Discovery. So it's jessicaagentsdiscovery.com if you want to email her. But she's not reading it. But I gave her own email, and then from there I just went to cal.com, gave her own calendar, created her own event type, and put availability pretty much 24/7. I think there's 1 minute per day she's not available because cal.com is made for people. There's not like an always available option, but for nearly 24 hours a day, she's available 7 days a week to do callbacks. So she's got her own email and her own calendar and her own bookings. And for that to work during the call, whether she's making a call or receiving a call, she'll capture information um, that somebody wants to make a call back. So during the call, what she'll do is she will, I call it she, but Jessica will check her calendar with an API call to cal.com, see if there's anything blocking that specific time. And then once it's free, she'll create a callback booking. And that's what this is, custom action here, callback booking. Now, this is the version 1 of the cal.com API. Here is the endpoint URL. Again, I'm not going to go too detail with the API call and how to configure that. But basically, what I'm doing is I'm creating a callback number or make sure Jessica's capturing a callback number during the call. And so that's this variable here. And then right here in the body of the API request, we're just simply putting in the location the callback number. Again, this is the callback number agreed upon during the call. Hopefully they'll give her a number to call back during the call. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is kind of hard coded. I mean, maybe you can get their name in there. So I got her capturing name during the call. Any of these bracketed variables here are ones that are live during the call. So in Synflow, there are two types of variables: the ones that occur after the call and ones that occur during the call. So again, we're focusing on a callback number and a name and a start time. So those are the three important things you got to have. You have to have a callback number, a name, and a start time, and they're all captured during the call. In the start time, the A agent does pretty good. If you just say, hey, call me back this time tomorrow, she'll just figure it out and schedule it for the same time tomorrow, or call me back in 30 minutes. She's able to do that as well. And so that's how the API call works. She just figures it out. It's handed to her, and then she just fills everything out in the API request to make that callback appointment happen. Okay, so that's the first part. The first part is request, hey, call me back later. Okay, Jessica puts something on her calendar, and then it's set up, ready to go. The location is a phone number. That location as a phone number is important because now we're going to go to a workflow, and I believe it's Jessica outbound, right? Because now we're waiting for the meeting event to occur or start. So in cal.com, when a meeting started, the cal.com, I think it's every 10 or 15 minutes, is broadcasting out from its API endpoints when meetings start. And so that's what we're waiting to capture in our workflow here. I use Synthflow's workflow builder because, I mean, I'm sure Make and N8N are much better workflow builders, but I'm just trying to use as few components as possible when doing these things or when I do anything with my agents. So again, we're waiting for cal.com to say the meeting has started, and the meeting being a callback. And then that callback is right here in the workflow. Where is it? We have a, I don't think it's that workflow. Yeah, here it is. Jessica callback. I called it callback. That would make sense. So again, here we're waiting for, it's a webhook, and I set up a webhook in the workflow builder. Pretty simple two-step process. That webhook is got the URL right here. Again, I'm not going to go over how to do webhooks and URLs. I can, but that webhook is listening for cal.com to say the meeting has started, and when it has started, the phone call catches the location to number to call to. So that's the location again, is we put the phone number in the location, and the name, we also capture the name in the callback during the previous call, and that's it. It just dials that number and says, hello, is this Bob or Sue or whoever you said you were the last time we spoke? And then the workflow starts over. And again, Jessica's intent here is try to schedule meetings with me to get potential clients for using AI voice agents. And that's really it. So it's pretty simple at a high level. Again, the things you need is the things I used was I gave the assistant or the agent their own email, their own calendar, their own cal.com, their own bookings, and they basically book themselves. And then when the meeting starts, this workflow or this webhook captures that meeting started, and then the call begins, and then the callback works that way. Again, I'll put the phone number for this Jessica. I called it Jessica. Put the phone number down at the bottom, and you can call it and try it, see if the callbacks work for you. And testing is appreciated. I haven't tested it in probably a week. It was working the last time I checked. So that's always fun when you test new things or test existing features to make sure they're still working. If there's any more interested on how to set up the webhooks or how to do the API calls and things like that, just let me know. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.